Martina. I think, it seems to me like we've grown up in the conditioning where we see each other as objects. We see everything as objects because language turns everything into an object, like we say a tree rather than treeing. Or we say a person's name and then we have an idea of who that person is, and we don't really feel that person, don't really. So in that way of functioning, it's actually oftentimes uncomfortable to be around other people when we get that quality of attention. So in many of us, there's this tendency to kind of prefer then to just be by ourselves, but then that's also not so nice because we're not getting that flow. And that's where I find these meetings beautiful, because at least here we can meet and just rest with each other, and and while these meetings provide some of it, for many, there's that sense of touch that doesn't get really met. So I don't know how it is for others, but it's my sensing of it anyway. Ah, Barbara.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, Barbara. Good to see you.
Like what you were speaking with Martina was exactly for me. Like there's something left over from being a baby or something, and something was touched in the outside, and now I feel it inside. And like there's a doubt that I need exactly now to be one by one, that it is like that you hold it with me together. And I was not believing that it will work when you just do it with Martina. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah. To me, there's this funny thing. I mean, there's some benefit when we see an interaction with someone else where it touches something that's similar in us or that resonates in us. But then there's something also on that one-on-one, just really meeting and tracking with each other and resting with each other. That takes it to another level or another layer, or however you want to describe. So I'm pleased that
this doubt is also something which is healthy, and because, as you say, it has a different quality if we really track together.
Yeah. Yes.
Like it was like it really feels like a trauma, and like I had it a lot in the heart, and now it's so stuck in the kidneys. And
so just stuck means that we have an idea that it should be different, that it should be
yes,
flowing. So just
maybe
honor that stuckness if you can. Just feel
I
it.
was, yeah, maybe it's also like, maybe I even feel for the first time how anyway my kidneys are all the time. And now I just like,
Yeah.
it's also possible. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. So just resting and you could say gently being present around the kidneys. And I'll track with you and we just there. Nothing has to be different. We're just seeing what information, what happens when it's just noticed and appreciated, and no energy or no intention for it to be different, but just gently tracking. Just seeing, because it's like, to me now I'm feeling you're seeing more of a picture because you can feel where the kidneys, where it connects to other areas in the body, and because they're part of a whole system, the kidneys, they're not isolated in themselves. Yeah. Oftentimes we'll notice the loudest point, but then when we get finer with it, we can feel how it's not sure.
So I'm still like, my attention is still with this loudest point, but then what do you mean? Like what do you sense where it is connected, which I at the moment cannot feel?
So just in your own sensing, is the sensations in the kidney, is there an abrupt end to them, or does it get less loud as it moves a little bit away from that loudest point, or is there a sharp cutoff? Is it does it have a shape, a color?
I don't see this, but I feel like a relaxation.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, and your breathing is changing. I'm starting to feel discharging in my hands, like tingling in my hands. And I have no idea what you're noticing, but usually that's a good sign.
Yeah, I also feel something in my hands. And I feel like joy again and the heart again.
Fantastic. Yeah. You know, if we were close to each other, I would ask you if you wanted a hug, just to let yeah. But because we can't have that physically, you can just imagine it if you'd like to. Just that we're holding each other, getting in your imagination, feeling the pressure of our bodies against each other, and hands holding, and just smelling, and as much as you can fill in with your imagination, it makes it almost similar to it actually happening.
It feels like I almost want to go into your body, like
Beautiful.
completely.
Yeah. Just
Like,
melting. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
being surrounded somehow.
Yeah. That's what's lovely about a hug, is that, really, when we feel safe, we can just melt in like that. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, I know it's not necessary to understand what's the trauma, but I think this is exactly it, that this was lacking at a moment of fear, or that there was somebody just holding me or my body.
Yeah. It's beautiful. We can get that information later, even if we didn't get it when we needed it, we can get it later. So.
Like, do you think, because it feels like it's happening, like not that often, but once in a while, again and again, is it then always, I can say, like a different situation where this was happening, that it's necessary for the system to meet you in this, or is it always the same problem? Or
No, I mean, I just say how it seems to me, and that it's like, how just in terms of food, even different seasons, our bodies want different foods. Different seasons, our bodies want different amounts of sleep. And when the body is getting what it's asking for, so to speak, something relaxes in it. And it's, again, to my seeing, it's like a lot of times we try to get that in intimate relating, but it's actually not the best place to get it, because usually, we come into it with this idea of, okay, I'm going to try and meet your needs and you got to meet my needs, and then it's a pressure. It's not like it's a bargain. It's not could say free, just and then it can get very painful. It's like, oh, I need something and you're not there for me, and it's just like it plays in relationships, especially in relating, it's different, but in relationships, it can really get very entangled, and codependent, all that kind of funny stuff. But anyway.
yeah, but as long as this need is not fulfilled, like it's running around in the world and asking for aid.
In a way, yes, yes, and but a lot of times it's running around asking for it, and at the same time, developing all these compensations for when we don't get what we want. So a lot of times we're asking for it, but at the same time, our system is giving confusing messages because I want it, but also at the same time, I don't want to get hurt again. So it's the signals get quite confused. It's just another
Thank you, Isaac. It's
yeah.
Just good to have you
just to rest and have this common interest in meeting beautifully, and just watch how the nervous system gets new information and in its own way it integrates it, and then the next layer shows up and the next layer, and it's never for us personally. It's really it affects everyone we know. It affects the whole field. So this love affair, this this inquiry it's a love affair. It's beautiful.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah. If there's anything that I'm speaking that doesn't resonate or doesn't with your unknowing, please feel free to bring it. You don't have to agree with me. Just telling you how it seems. Yeah, maybe it's useful. Feet.
Hi, Isaac. Hi, everybody.
Hey, feet.
You know, these, let's say, shifting focus. This is interesting. One color is nobody here, even less than this.
Yeah.
And then it turns into, wow, such a sense of a me, of an I.
Mm. Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah.
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 And it's such a well-worn neural pathway, I would say, like that. It's like how it's and it's pretty much related to automatic unconscious movements related to sensation, where our system can easily be present and where something wants to get away. Yeah. So it seems to me like, as we cruise together and explore together, our capacity to be present to a deeper range of sensation matures. It's
Luckily, yeah, sure.
Luckily, yeah.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
Very lucky. Yeah. Yeah, it's clear what I am or who I am, and that's the basis of all. If that's clear, then it's clear. You can't go.
Yeah.
You can't step, or the focus never really can step below that or behind that, back into the old dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
luckily.
So many subtleties just when we rest, watching all these. Yeah, it's lovely. Thanks, feet.
Thank you so much, I think.
Hi. I forget your name. I only see Vicky on your screen. So what's your name again?
Change device.
Say your name.
I'm Philippe. Can you hear me? Okay?
Philippe. Okay, great. Hi, Philippe. Your sound is very faint for me. I don't know how to. That's a bit better. Yeah.
Himalayas. Yeah, it's not so good to get good internet here. I can hear you listen, so I will just hopefully I can ask my question and openly
Easy.
listening. I was wondering if you could explore what you were saying to Barbara in that moment. I mean, the whole thing obviously was like a transmission, like a journey of words but it undid something in me quite powerfully with regards to changing needs and just this ever-changing flow of life and how to share that with people. I have a tendency to want to isolate myself when levels don't match.
Yeah. I think that's common in most of us. It's. I'm sure you don't have the patent on that one, my friend.
But yeah, even the changing of needs in the seasons and just this idea that I have to be defined. Like I am a person who talks this much, eats this much, and wants this.
Yeah.
And it's like there was so much release that came out when you were speaking of this changing.
I would say the root of that is in the habit of attention that wants to that is used to seeing everything as an object. So like the research is that within about 30 seconds of meeting someone, we form an impression of that person, and from then on we don't ever meet the person again. We relate to our image. And of course, then we're not really meeting because it's like an image meeting an image. And we develop like kind of social banter and a way of dealing with the discomfort of that. But usually it's not real food. And so, it's like if that's the level that it stays at some point we just want to leave and get away from there's a certain amount of fun. And maybe if you're drinking and you can kind of numb yourself out enough to get some enjoyment out of it. But once you get a little bit more sensitive, I find it painful myself. So,
well said. Right.
Yeah. So to me, it has to do with like resting, like allowing. It's like for those of us with eyesight, that's our most predominant sense. And our eyes tend to locate someone in space. But really, if you look at it, the light of that person comes in through the eyes, and we experience them, even what we see, in awareness. It's that habit of like positioning it somewhere outside. You could say that it has some usefulness to it, but in actuality, the light at this point of what you call me is coming through the eyes and coming into awareness, and then you're experiencing what you call me in awareness. So if you look in like an animal's eyes, like a cat or a dog, they don't kind of push you away with their eyes. You can kind of just go right in them. Same with a small baby. If you look in the small baby's eyes, there's nothing that keeps you out. You can go right in. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So it's one of the things that was useful at a certain point is just like imagining that my eyes are holes and the light is just coming in them. I don't need to focus to try and see, and I don't need to know what's going on through the agency of seeing. I can just allow the light to come in. And so in exploring with people around the globe for years now, a lot of times when people just play with that, just like, okay, letting the light come in, people feel something deep relaxing in themselves. But it has been a habit, that for most of us we've had for years, like 30, 40, however old we are, years of that other kind of focus. So it's like playing with it and just keeping it inviting, that the eyes soften and they just, that the light can just come in, and then we start to see that the whole movie is appearing in awareness. It's not, there's no inside and outside to that. It's like, and that's experiential. It's not conceptual, it's experiential. Yeah. So it's like it's through the usual habit of attention. When we see someone as an object, something in us evaluates, is this person useful to where I think I'm going, what I think my goals are, or not? And so if something in us determines that they're not, we just, like, that person becomes not interesting to us anymore. And the people that seem to have some usefulness to us, there's like, so the world gets broken down to, from that perspective, I could say, to what we think is going to bring us what we need.
Can I get
But
something out of it?
can I get something out of it? Yeah, like, and so it's interesting to just see how prevalent that habit is, and I think it's endemic. It's like across every culture that I've seen. It's just when we're relating from the sense of separation, from the sense of me and my wants and my needs, that's automatic. But once it gets a little bit quieter and we start to recognize that actually, like we're, how to say it, we're all in this together. There is no separation. There never has been, there never can be. Then there's a way of meeting every expression of life, whether it's a tree, a bird, it's like the indigenous talk about all our relations, and they're talking about that, like starting to sense life in a different way. So we're learning, in a sense. I would say we've been conditioned in a certain way, and now there's a learning of meeting ourselves everywhere. That's actually beautiful and much more satisfying than, like where automatically our system tries to compensate and protect ourselves, and like you're saying, isolate ourselves in a certain way because of it being so uncomfortable. Our usual habit and the habit of those we engage with. So yeah. And it's interesting to just start to explore and see what the automatic habits are, because those are so, we take them so, they don't even show up on our radar, because it just seems like that's the way it is. And that's it's a part of this journey, is starting to become aware of some of these conditioned habits that are so normalized, so we're so used to them, they don't even show up on our radar. it's like when we kind of explore together like this, sometimes some of them come into view and we go, oh, wow, I didn't even realize those filters were having such a big price, so to speak. Yeah.
Some of them even in the name of previous attempts of spirituality or
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because it's like moment by moment, there's a certain way of meeting the moment where the experience is just a flow that we could call love. Not, like not the romantic stuff, but just the felt sense that there's no separation and yeah.
a
So
big love.
yeah, the big love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you, I think it kind of ties in. Are you able to speak about what you were saying to Martina with regards to, like, I have this tendency to want to protect the big love and to isolate myself also in like mountains and nature and all this stuff. And it kind of felt like you were pointing in a way that was like, of course, seeing the suffering and feeling the suffering of the field, collective field is I'm not sure what is needed at my stage. It feels more conducive to be in more peaceful environments, but
Yeah, I mean, and like again, I think it's useful to see what nurtures your system, but and equally, ultimately, all we have are the sensations of now, and something either resists them or is in some ways, or kind of explores meeting it as the beloved. So it doesn't mean you have to go along with, like if it's not your thing to go drinking every night in the pub and being around a bunch of people that are kind of, like they're not really there, they kind of in another zone. It doesn't mean you have to put yourself in circumstance, but if you find yourself in that circumstance, then it's like, is it possible to so gently be the space in which all of that's appearing without any judgments or opinions or anything, so that, like this, because it's those movements where there's a judgment or opinion that's automatic, and like that a price is paid. So but it's like, so that in a way it's like starting to be able to make the distinction between making a distinction and a judgment. So like during the day there might be an urge to who knows, smoke a cigarette or eat a chocolate or have a glass of wine or something, and then there's that capacity of really feeling, okay, is this useful in this moment? Is this in tune with what's happening here, or is it an old craving, or what it is? So the system gets more fine at making distinctions rather than having hard edges. Yeah.
yeah, one thing that actually slightly relevant. So I'm currently in Parvati Valley, we are currently in Parvati Valley in the Himalayas, and so for the first time in a very long time, there is a prevalence of marijuana.
Yes.
And so many like judgments and old patterns, and to revisit it. And on 2 occasions out of a few so far, but there's a movement there that is quite strong due to previous addiction. But two occasions specifically, they have given me insights of the beloved that are like incredibly powerful. And that was kind of, was that a like, it felt like in the subtlety of it, that was useful to help me elevate to a higher level. And then I've also experienced the other time when it just kind of goes like, I want that again. And then it goes down, and then I just find myself eating chocolate and this kind of stuff. So it's very interesting, like the as you say, like the distinction versus the judgment, and is it serving a purpose? Is it?
I mean, that's it's like with all medicines, it's like there's a way of being with it in like kind of a conscious, really, like, okay, I'm in it in the conscious way, and then there's a way of being in it as a way of spacing out, basically. And again, no right and wrong to spacing out even, but it's useful to start being able to discern the difference.
Thank you very much, Isaac. These interactions are incredibly helpful. I'm very grateful for what you bring.
Thank you, and hi to Vicky too. I guess you must be Vicky, because that's what it says on the computer. Well, greetings. Thanks. Claire.
Hello, Isaac.
Hi, Claire.
I have a question around, like Barbara was saying as well, that she had the feeling, the desire to kind of put you inside her, or and I've had this a few times happening with people in presence, that there is so much, I want just to be so close to them that I want to put them inside me. And yesterday I had it with statues, which was a strange feeling. And I'm curious about what is happening, and is this desire like to put it inside me an immaturity or a contraction? Because I can't sense because I feel unity, but it interprets it in the way that I want to put it inside me.
Yeah, so when you say inside me, what are you referring to?
It's like I want to put it here. But it interprets in the body.
Yeah. So that's like referencing the body, right?
Yeah.
So just exploring now. So right now, there's information coming in through the senses. That's how we know that there's a universe, yeah? That's how we know time, that's how we know space, that's how we know energy. That's how we know everything. There's information coming in, and normally we think of it that it's coming into the body because it's coming in through the senses. But then if we look, what we call the body, or the bodying, the activity of bodying, we sense that also. So it's not, the body itself is also appearing in, I use the word awareness, but it's appearing here. Because where is the experience of now? All we can say is it's here. Where does it begin and end? It's hard to say. Right now, where does the experience of now begin and end? It's just here, right? Where does here end and there begin? It just doesn't even make sense in a way, right? So that yearning to bring it inside is, in a sense, once you recognize it's already inside, it's here. Even that yearning is here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all just here. So that, and that yearning itself is sweet. It's just not to get confused by it, because it's also just part of this moment. It's just here, and it's like, so, where you experience what you call me is here. The same where all experiencing is happening. That's not the reference that would make it seem outside and inside is usually a referencing of what we call the body, without recognizing that the body itself is also appearing here experientially. I would say it like that. Yeah. So everything is here. Every thought, every yearning, every, all here. That's once we recognize that, it's not how we've been habitualized or conditioned to experience. We've been conditioned to reference from the perspective of the body, inside the body and outside the body. But it's very different when you reference the actual experience, which is just here. The experience of now, just for fun, where does it begin and end? Can you find the beginning or an end? No, actually not. Yeah. And the interesting thing is to see that, like, somehow our focus of attention can be very wide, or it can be very focused. Like if we're doing really fine or something, then the attention gets like laser focused on something. But then it cuts out so much information. There's no right way or wrong way, but it's just like, I don't know, it's when the attention's just wide, like, sensing the nature around me, sensing the universe, sensing, all time appearing in me, all space appearing in me. It's something that gets pretty big. all memory appearing in me, or everything. Yeah, it's just all future plans, everything just right here. What's your feeling as it gets wider and more vast? What? Can you describe?
Right now, there is a lot of like energy. It makes me move my head.
Yeah.
Before it went really wide.
Yeah.
And it feels beautiful.
Yeah.
And then it was more focused around this moving
Of energy. Yeah.
of energy inside my body, the body.
Yeah. That's fine. It's just a little shift of focus, that's all. So somehow that got interesting.
Yeah, and I usually lose, my eyesight becomes really, or like troubled, and I can't really see much.
That's okay. Yeah.
But it feels relaxing.
Yeah, beautiful.
I can sense the difference from when I asked the question at the start and how I feel now.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Hi. I forgot your name, but Emmy's partner, yeah. What's your name? You got to unmute, sorry. On the left bottom of your screen, there's a little red button. If you left bottom, then you can click it, and then I'll be able to hear you. No worries. Yep. I hear
Okay,
you.
so my name is Willem.
Willem, right. Thanks for reminding me.
Since we're talking about the senses, I have this gradually going blind. My right eye is hardly functioning anymore, and it gives all kind of hallucinations sometimes. I see things that are not good. But it's actually a very interesting process. Also scary, because sometimes you have all these small accidents that just because you don't see people. Yeah, but it's also kind of help to see the limited thing about the senses, because without senses there's still this awareness, but there is no input from outside anymore, at least less. Also get tired of, so I'm often not looking anymore because it's so tiring to analyze the sight. But it's also very scary because I don't know what's going to happen to me when I don't see anything anymore.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I've had friends who lost eyesight, and they also said it was scary at first, but then they found the deliciousness in it.
Yeah,
because the other senses became so it seems like you're on a good track with it. I mean, you're honest in it, and you know what'll happen. You're taking whatever care you can, and then the rest is not up to you. It's just like that's the journey. But the left eye is still working well,
more or less. But I'm losing depth and color, so it's also it will disappear at some point. Maybe I don't know how long I have to live, because it's also the body at some point stops.
Yeah, it's just like that.
I at some point had this experience that I was a kind of metal framework, and I couldn't breathe because there was no space, because everything was flat. But okay, I could say okay to this experience as well, but it feels like you can't breathe anymore, but you're not human anymore, and it could be all fantasy, but it's somehow was very strong experience, and you're so used to breathing, and that's what life does, but without breath it's really very strange experience, but still everything is there. That's at least everything.
Yeah. I mean, we just see how, like, you know, there's this, for most expressions of life that we call people, there's the sense that, you know, like we're guiding the ship, so to speak, but then at some point you see, man, life is its own journey and we just along for the ride. It's like, John Lennon said it so well, life is what happens while you're busy making other plans.
Again?
Life is what happens while we're busy making other plans.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I had planned to go living outside and have a car again, but with this eyes, it's not possible anymore.
Wow. Yeah.
And there's kind of consequences I have to deal with too, but it's also make me free, because I don't have to worry about cars anymore and all this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing is like just your attitude in a way, you know, just to be easy with whatever's going on, if it's possible. Not always possible, but if it's possible, that's the easiest way to cruise in life, for sure.
Yeah, the way out for me is just being fine with whatever comes.
Yeah. Simple, but I mean, really, that's there's that, or we're fighting with life, and you don't win that one.
No. Yeah.
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 If it's okay with you, I'd love to just rest with you and feel into your eye and just be present there, and just not trying to change anything or fix, but just loving attention. Just
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, nice to
Yeah.
speak to you again.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you for taking the opportunity to say hello.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ah, Swaha.
Hi.
Hi, Swaha. Greetings.
We spoke today a lot about hugging and touch and this, and happened to me that sorry, I was open to hug someone and he was just cracking my ribs and like crazy, and since a week I can hardly move. And I have to take the whole time painkillers, what I'm usually not doing. Before I had that thing with a back, so it's like,
Yeah.
it's so painful, I have to say. And
Yeah.
and that I cannot sleep good because I can hardly turn, and
Yeah.
and now I feel ashamed that I even hugged this guy full of, I was totally relaxing in that hug, and without asking, he did that to me. And I
Yeah.
don't even know when I see him next time how to respond to him, because I think he's a bit crazy, cannot.
Yeah.
And then I
So
have in my mind the whole thing is like I feel like Germany, like the same, open to receive everybody and being.
yeah.
This is the same time coming up,
So just taking a moment, Swaha.
It's
Something in you wasn't in tune with him.
yes.
So it has, and you're not wrong for that. But just to recognize something you didn't really feel his energy, and there was a naivety. There was a,
Yes.
yeah, you could say, this idea of being open that wasn't in tune with what was useful for your body, so to speak. And it's okay. We all have moments like that, where we not in tune in that way, but it's careful not to put it out on him. Clearly, it's not correct for someone to squeeze you like that without permission. but I'm sure from his perspective, he wanted to try and help you or give you, give you some relief or crack you in the way that other people like or something. But at the same time, it's like you didn't ask for it and he wasn't in tune with you, but to put it out on him, then you become a victim. And yeah, so just, it's okay. We all can not, be in tune like that, but it's important not to put it out. That's the main thing. Yeah. And it's okay. So you're learning, and I'm sure, you're taking care of yourself as best you know how, and it'll pass. When I think of how many times my system has not been in tune, my God, I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. It's like, what can you do?
Yeah, I think also like what is being spoken today, the whole thing was being raised up by caregivers, not even my parents, because I'm coming from East Germany, they put the children straight after some weeks in big boxes with full of children, like and feeding all 4 hours or whatever. And so how can I know,
Yeah. So the beauty is, though, whatever your system never got at that stage, it's can get now, and it is getting by being in good company. And
yeah, and especially these meetings, this is really like, wow, I feel so grateful.
I'm pleased. Yeah.
And also like I can feel my vulnerability coming up, just starting when I check in, it's like, oh, that hardness falls off, and like this protecting from, I don't know what the next thing is happening, like, oh yeah, I can relax. And also like I want to crawl into your heart, like it's like very often I look at your chest also, and it's like,
You're already in my heart, Swaha. It's like, this is the beauty. There's just seeing, actually, that's how it is. We all are in awareness, and it's already like that.
Yeah. I'm so thankful to be part here.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And wishing that body speedy healing, and being gentle with itself as it's coming back into its natural balance. Yeah. Judith. Hi, Judith.
I just like to sit.
Of course. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here and meeting so beautifully. Thanks, Bas. Much appreciation. Shapiro. Yes.